Hey, twin. So good to see you. I wanted to elaborate more on my previous video because I touched mostly on romantic relationships because those are some of the most important connections that we have in the experience. But I also want to talk on like family and friendships because, again, those are also extremely important. When you're in a relationship, the expectation is that you put the relationship first, and especially when you're married, I mean, you're actually supposed to separate from your family. But it's the attachment to the connections that affect the relationships. And it's like I had spoken in a previous video about how being attached to your children can actually attract, negativity for them, can actually attract not, oh, how pretty, a crane. Actually, I just saw a crane in the rear view here, but thanks, universe. I don't know if it was a crane or a heron. It may have been a heron, but anyways, so you're actually attracting things that you don't want for your children. And there's a net in here with me. It's just, yeah, there's always gonna be energies around you that are watching you, that are seeing what you're doing, because again, there's those who obtain and those who observe, and when they're ready to obtain from themselves, they will stop observing you. But something my eldest had told me was like, yeah, we have to observe them obtain. And yeah, it's true. At one point we're the observer, and then that's when we come to the alignment that we are ready to be the obtainer. And you can switch from observer to obtainer at any moment because, again, being fluid, being adaptable, willing to pivot, when you come across new information, that helps you to navigate. But, it's my feeling that humans are the only ones who attach to their offspring, like, ridiculously. Like, pretty much every other species on this planet, I mean, some species, once they lay their eggs, that's it. The young are off to fend for themselves when they're born. I believe turtles are one of them. Snakes. No, snakes, I know they hatch them. But turtles, they bury their eggs. And they just kind of leave there and they go back to the ocean. And when the baby turtles hatch, they have to make it to the tide and not get eaten by gulls or whatever else wants to snack on them. But then, there's lots of mammals that, okay, so humans are mammals, so we'll look at mammals. Well, humans are the only mammals that feel that they should be involved in their children's lives, like, every single moment. Like, does the grandma zebra go around telling the mom zebra what to do with the baby zebra? Like, does the grandma zebra go meddle in the baby zebra's life and the daughter zebra's life, or the son zebra's life, and or does the father zebra go and or the grandfather zebra go and tell the father zebra what, like, just, do you ever see that aside from humans? No, you don't, because all of the mammals understand that it is their duty to be there and guide their young to adulthood. And certain animals that herd will stay together, safety in numbers. And those that prefer to live in solitude, they're gonna go off and go do their own thing. I mean, wolves run in packs, right? And there's a leader, there's alpha male, alpha female, but what I'm trying to say is, like, the grandparents, the grandparent zebras are not so attached to their own children that they want to control every part of their lives, including their progeny, their grandchildren, whatever, their bloodline. And it's been, for me, a process of detachment from my own children, because I share time with their dad. We have 50-50 custody because he begged me for it. He, when I first left him back in 2020, he was crying and worried that I would take the kids away. And I was like, I'm not trying to take your kids away, but you and I can no longer continue. Like, we've literally reached the end of the road here. When we were in the first stages of the divorce process, and we were doing the 50-50 time split anyway, when my kids would go with their dad, I would be devastated for it was sometimes the whole week until they came back, but I distracted myself by going out and dating and this and that, and walked right into a repeating cycle, which is, what I ordained for myself. So, it was like, after breaking the enmeshment with my mother, I mean, even before then, like, when the kids were with their dad and I was with my ex, like, yeah, I'd still be sad about them. I'd still be focused on them not being around and being depressed about that. But then realizing that they are me, I am them, they're always with me. They couldn't be anywhere else but with me. I've allowed myself to detach from the need to see them in the 3D all the time. The need to have them around me. It's not that I don't want my children around me. It's not that I don't care. In fact, I care too damn much. So I've allowed myself to come to the point of neutrality, to detach, that I know my children are protected. I know my children are safe no matter where they are or who they're with. I mean, I deem who they can be with and who they can't be with, but I know that who they're with in that time, they're okay. Everything's fine. Like, I allow my oldest to go for walks at night, and where we live, there's lots of gangs. There's lots of gangs around, but I'm not afraid of those gangs. I know that they're not going to bother him because he's not affiliated. The whole reason why gangs even formed was in response to the biggest gang that is created, and that's the government. Police, IRS, all of them. That's the biggest crime organization that exists. And so, Novarios, you gotta band together and stand up for yourselves. Stand up for what you believe in, for what you feel. We all want the same thing. We all just want to live. We all just want to enjoy. I'll go into another video about that, okay? I don't want to go off on another huge thread here, but I'll make another video about all of the conflict and strife that's currently going on in the 3D. But anyways, so I know that he's fine. There's nothing that's gonna happen to him. And he has told me he's been hit up. All he has to do is just say, "Nah, I don't bang." And they leave him alone. They want to make sure that you're not there to fuck with them. And once they know that you're cool, they're gonna be cool with you. They're literally not going to even bother with you. But if you need them, they're gonna be there. So I've come to the level of detachment, neutrality about having, the need to see my children all the time, because I know that I'm gonna see them soon enough. I know that I'm gonna be with them soon enough. And whatever happens down the path, that's what's gonna happen, should the day come that either my children are like, "Hey mom, like, you're too involved, you're too this, you're too that," I'll be like, "Okay, I understand, I comprehend, like, yeah, fair," and I told my son, I was like, "I'm never gonna meddle in your friendships or your relationships, but if you ask my opinion, I'm gonna give it. And if I see certain red flags that I feel you may be ignoring, I'm probably gonna bring it up to you, but ultimately it's your life. It's your decision, and you can only do you." But he's also been going through some things with friends and his crush, and I was telling him, like, I too am going through some things with my friends. Like, I realized a lot on my birthday when certain people texted me, certain people didn't text me, and what certain people that did text me, what they did text me. And my sister, she texts me like later on in the day, which is understandable because she's a general manager for a movie theater and she's busy. That girl never, even on her days off, she's working. Told her she works too damn hard. She should just pivot, but that's up to her. She'll do it when she's ready, when she so chooses to. And thank you, universe. My sisters on my dad's side, my stepsister, she's like she's like Alice to me. I love her so much. She's so beautiful and kind and loving, but she's also firm and powerful and respects herself so much. She had actually invited me over before my birthday and we hung out. She gave me really beautiful gifts, but on the day she texted me. I was just so happy to see a text from her. And our other sister, she didn't text me that day, but I know that she's going through a lot because one of her friends had just passed, like, who's around my age. They passed suddenly from an aneurysm. So basically, whoever I expected to contact me did that day, whether it was physically or telepathically. And those that didn't, it said a lot to me. And those that did what they said to me should have basically, it would have been better if they never text me at all. Like, it really would have been more desirable to have silence. Because it reflected to me how they truly view our friendship, how they truly view me. And I've had all these signs and nudges and messages that this person, while they're not evil, they're not bad, no, there's nothing like that, but it's just that this person cannot meet me where I'm at anymore. This person basically, we've come to the point where we've reflected everything we can to each other. I'm just gonna be flat out, like, it's Alta, because I know he's going through a lot of medical concerns right now, and I'm always there for him. But in the more recent times that he's gone back to the hospital, I haven't been able to visit him. And when he came back the last time, I was supposed to go over Friday night after I dropped the kids off, and he ended up falling asleep, I guess, which is understandable because, you know, having all those meds and everything, he just got back from the hospital. But he was adamant. He was like, you come over, we're gonna hang out. So I was like, okay, I'll be there. You know, I don't get there till almost 9. So his mom had texted me that he was asleep and that I should go over in the morning. So I called him just to see if he would wake up, and he didn't. And I left him a message saying, hey, you know, if you wake up, call me. I'll be up for a little while. Didn't, which is fine. But then the next morning I'm in the shower and I'm getting like all these texts and calls from him. And when I get out the shower, I was like, hey, I just got out the shower. Like, I'll head over. And when I get there, it was just the weirdest vibe I had ever felt. Especially from his mom. Like, it just, I was not welcome there. And, you know, but I just feigned and masked. Fawned and masked, as I tend to do, just because I wanted to gather more information and see what was the next pivot to make. I was making coffee for myself, and which, you know, Alta comes out and he's like, oh, I want more coffee. Didn't say hi, didn't say how are you. He just comes out, looks at me, and he's like, I want more coffee. I was like, oh, okay, you know, I'll make you more coffee. And he had a little bit in there, so I was like, oh, he wants a little warm up. It was a big cup, it was a big coffee mug. And so I made more coffee, and while I was making more coffee, I was adding the cream, and his mom was micromanaging me on how much cream to put in. And I was just like, I got it, like, I've made coffee for my best friend before, like, I think I know how he likes his coffee. But I didn't say that. I just looked at her and I was like, okay, yeah. So it's her house, you know. So the coffee had reached the top of the mug, and I was walking in with his in one hand and mine in the other hand. And in his room, there's not many tables. It's just his bed, and then he has a little night table off in the corner. But where he needs to put his wheelchair, it's hard to get by the wheelchair to that little table. And since the cup was so full and hot, I didn't want to hand it to him. And I guess he got irritated and he was just like, well, if you didn't fill up the cup so much, you wouldn't, basically that he was mad that I filled the cup up so much. And I was like, well, there was some left over in there. And he's like, well, you should have poured it out. And I was like, well, next time I know. But there's not going to be another next time. Because it's come to the point where I feel that I'm expected to be Alta's wife. I'm expected to do all the things that a partner would do. And that, no, I didn't sign up for that. No, I did not. I told Al, and I told his mom, I was like, I'm here for as long until your true love comes into your life. But I know that what he wants, what he sees for himself, is coming to him. And it's just come to the point where perhaps we should walk separate paths. And we may meet up again later on. I mean, it's happened before. We didn't talk for, 11, 12 years up until 2022. And we met up again. We were hanging out. And now it's come to the point where we should probably, we should definitely part ways, And it's not always a sad thing, but everyone processes things differently, to each their own and each in their own time. But that's what I was speaking about, was like, everyone that I've called my best friend has betrayed me in some way. And with Alta, I told him, you're the only person who can make me not want to be friends with you. And it's not that I don't want to be his friend, but it's just that I've got to focus on me. I've got to focus on the things that I'm doing and the steps that I'm taking. And while I support him in his medical journey and everything, I can't heal him. I can't save him. I'm not here to save anyone, not even myself. I don't need saving. None of us do. But it's just so many things that I see. And like, even with my friend and her husband, like, I stepped back from that because I just started getting these like weird vibes, started feeling like a second wife. It was just, I'm like, no, that's not me. I'll be cool, I'll be chill, I'll be giving and loving, but once I start feeling that you're putting me in a space that I don't want to be in, I mean, I don't ghost, but I will go silent. And if you truly want to ask me, you truly want to know, you know how to get a hold of me. It's not that I don't like confrontation. I don't invoke Kalima, but it's like, pick your battles, right? But I had written this journal entry yesterday after speaking. Well, my son had written a journal entry of his own and wanted me to read it. And then this is what I had written after that. Excuse me, thank you. When others begin to reflect that what I am to them, they can no longer manage or control, I recede back to the contentment of solitude. In solitude, there is no one to pander or cater. There is no one to worry if they're having fun. And there is no one to disappoint but yourself. In solitude, there is no one to compete or compare. There is no one to idolize or instigate. And there is no one to explain or expect. Even if they want to walk with you, do they allow themselves to? We are the only ones blocking our own paths. It confuses and shocks them when you continue on because you can no longer stand around waiting for them to make up their minds. It is not conditional love to keep moving for yourself because you are leaving footprints, breaking branches along the way, so that when they choose to, they can follow you. Love, patience.